The elegant marble hall trembled with silence. Guests watched as a young woman in a simple black uniform stood trembling, her eyes locked on the Arabbillionaire standing beside his bride-to-be. "Mr. Kareem, please," her voice cracked, echoing through the gold-trimmed room. "You need to know the truth, before you sign that paper." Kareem Al-Rahman, CEO of Adelian Group, a man whose empire touched half the world, turned slowly, confusion shadowing his calm, regal face. His fiancée, Celeste Vaughn, paled as the clock ticked above the registrar's desk, 5 seconds before their civil wedding was to begin. Then the maid's words shattered the room. "She's been lying to you. She already has a husband." The world froze. Cameras clicked. Gasps rippled. And Kareem's eyes turned from shock to a cold, silent storm. 3 weeks earlier, London. Rain streaked the glass walls of Rahman Tower, a 62-story monument of modern power piercing the skyline of Canary Wharf. Inside, Kareem stood in his penthouse office. Tall, commanding, his charcoal suit immaculate, eyes reflecting the grey city below. He was a man known for precision. The kind who didn't speak twice, didn't forgive twice, and never, ever, got blindsided. Or so he thought. His assistant, Aria Kellen, entered softly. "Sir, Miss Vaughn confirmed the wedding date with the registry office. Everything's set for the 24th. Kareem nodded. "Good. Make sure security is tight. I don't want paparazzi anywhere near that hall." "Yes, sir." He picked up the small velvet box on his desk, a platinum band with a sapphire line running through it. "It's strange, Aria," he murmured, his voice low, almost human beneath the authority. "I built empires faster than most people build homes. But love, it still feels like a risk I can't insure." Aria smiled faintly. "Maybe that's what makes it real, sir." Outside, in the corner of the vast marble lobby below, a quiet figure in a maid's uniform wiped the floor near the elevators. Her name was Marina, a Brazilian immigrant working under the cleaning services contract. She had no reason to cross paths with the billionaire upstairs, until one night, she overheard something that would change everything. That night, as the tower emptied and the lights dimmed, Marina was finishing her shift when she heard voices echoing from the executive lounge. "I told you to delete those records, Celeste," said a man's voice, cold and clipped. "I'm handling it," Celeste whispered sharply. "He won't find out. He's obsessed with loyalty, and I've given him the illusion he craves." Marina froze, recognizing Celeste's voice immediately. The same woman she'd seen on billboards, on Kareem's arm, in magazines with captions like "London's most powerful couple-to-be." And now, this. The male voice hissed again. "Good. Once he signs the marriage papers, you'll have access to his holdings through the joint foundation. Just remember, I'm your husband, not him." Marina dropped her cleaning cloth, a faint sound that made Celeste glance toward the door. "Wait, did you hear that?" Marina panicked, grabbed her supplies, and fled down the hallway, her heart pounding against her ribs. That night, she didn't sleep. She tried to tell herself it wasn't her business. That people like her, invisible, replaceable, had no right to interfere in a world of billionaires and secrets. But the next morning, she saw Kareem himself, arriving through the lobby, greeting staff with quiet dignity, nodding at the old doorman by name, tipping the janitor without a word. And something inside her changed. She whispered to herself, "No one deserves to be destroyed like that." The city awoke beneath a mist of silver light. Down on the street, cars rolled through puddles, and people hurried with coffee cups and phones glued to their ears. But on the 47th floor of Rahman Tower, the morning moved slower, quieter, as Kareem Al-Rahman sipped his black coffee, watching the skyline he'd conquered. He had built his empire from the ashes of his father's oil fortune, transforming it into a technology and real estate powerhouse across 3 continents. He was admired, feared, and, by many, envied. But today, as he glanced at the engagement notice on his tablet, something inside him stirred with unease. His fiancée, Celeste Vaughn, was perfection by every standard, elegant, cultured, daughter of a former British diplomat. Their relationship was the kind the media adored. But Kareem had learned long ago that perfection was often a well-dressed mask for danger. Still, he had ignored the whispers, the anonymous letters warning him to look deeper. Because, for once in his life, he wanted to believe in peace. Meanwhile, in a modest apartment across town, Marina Cole sat on the edge of her bed, gripping her phone like it could burn her. She had replayed that conversation in her head 100 times. Each time, she told herself to forget. But every time she looked in the mirror, she saw fear, and behind it, guilt. Her roommate, Nia, glanced up from the small kitchen. "Girl, what's got you so pale? You look like you've seen a ghost." Marina shook her head. "It's nothing. Just something I shouldn't have heard." Nia frowned. "If it's about that rich man's wedding you clean for, stay out of it. These people don't care about us, Marina. You speak, they silence you." Marina looked down, whispering, "But what if the truth could save someone's life?" Nia sighed. "Then pray for him, not for trouble." That evening, Kareem hosted a private charity dinner at the Grand Dominion Hotel. Celebrities, politicians, and business elites filled the ballroom, crystal lights gleaming above, violins humming softly. Celeste moved through the crowd like royalty, her champagne gown shimmering. Kareem stood beside her, shaking hands with donors, his every word precise and poised. Yet his eyes drifted to her again and again. Something about her laugh tonight, a little too practiced, a little too hollow. A reporter approached. "Mr. Al-Rahman, tell us, what's the secret to love and empire?" Kareem gave a polite smile. "Both demand truth. Without it, you build on sand." Celeste's smile faltered, just a flicker, but Kareem noticed. His instincts sharpened. Later that night, as the guests left, Marina, assigned by the cleaning company to handle post-event cleanup, entered the grand hall. She froze when she saw Celeste in a private corner, whispering angrily into her phone. "You promised those documents were gone," Celeste hissed. "If he finds out before the wedding, we both lose everything." Marina's breath caught. The same male voice replied from the other end, faint but clear. "You're in too deep to panic now. Smile. Marry him. Then we move." Celeste ended the call, her mask cracking for the first time. She pressed her hands to her face, trembling. Marina hid behind a pillar, her cleaning cart barely steady. This wasn't just betrayal, it was criminal. The next morning, Kareem walked into his office early. His security advisor, Malik Idris, a former intelligence officer from Jordan, stood by the window reviewing digital reports. "Sir," Malik said, "our background vetting on Miss Vaughn had minor inconsistencies, but her public records check out." "Minor inconsistencies?" Kareem asked softly, his tone unreadable. "Name change 5 years ago. Before that, limited traceable activity. Could be normal, could be intentional." Kareem leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled. "Run a deeper audit. Every associate, every document. Discretion only." "Yes, sir." His gaze drifted to the engagement ring on his desk, the sapphire catching the light like truth buried beneath beauty. He whispered under his breath, almost to himself, "If there's a lie beneath her name, I'll find it." That night, Marina wrote a letter, trembling as she sealed it in an envelope. Inside, she had written, "Mr. Kareem Al-Rahman, I don't know if you'll believe me, but your bride is married to another man. I heard her admit it myself. Please, be careful. Someone who saw the truth." She hesitated, staring at the letter in her hands. Delivering it could mean losing her job, maybe worse. But silence was its own kind of crime. Finally, she whispered, "God, protect me," and slid the envelope beneath the glass door of Rahman Group headquarters. Kareem Al-Rahman's fingers hovered over the envelope on his desk. It was unmarked, no signature, no indication of who had delivered it. Only a single line of typewritten text. "Your bride is already married. You must know before it's too late. He set down his espresso, the rich aroma mingling with the faint scent of polished wood and leather. Every instinct he had honed over decades screamed that this wasn't a prank. Malik Idris, ever vigilant, stepped forward. "Sir, shall we consider this credible?" Kareem didn't answer immediately. His eyes were narrowed, scanning the city below, as if the skyline itself might whisper the truth. After a long pause, he spoke, calm but unyielding. "Check everything. Every record. Every residence. Every digital footprint. I don't care how small it is, if there's a lie, I will find it." Malik nodded, leaving the office to mobilize the team of private investigators Kareem kept under wraps, elite operatives with access that could unravel even the most carefully hidden secrets. Meanwhile, Celeste Vaughn was in her apartment across the city, applying makeup with robotic precision. Her phone buzzed, a message from her co-conspirator, the mysterious man who had threatened her earlier. "He has the letter. Expect interference." Her hands trembled slightly as she read it. The carefully crafted facade she had maintained for years now felt like a fragile veneer over a canyon of lies. She whispered to herself, "It's too late. He'll never know the real me until it's done." Her reflection in the mirror betrayed a flicker of fear, not the fear of being discovered, but the fear of losing power, of being stripped of the control she had manipulated so expertly. Back at Rahman Tower, Kareem's investigation began immediately. One of his operatives, Lucas Brand, a cyber intelligence specialist, started tracing Celeste's background. Within hours, discrepancies emerged, old records, hidden marriages, documents under alternate names. Kareem didn't react outwardly. He sat back, steepling his fingers, eyes fixed on the skyline. His mind raced, anger, betrayal, and a sharp clarity. "Finally," he whispered, almost to himself, "all illusions fall eventually. All lies meet truth." He made a decision. This wouldn't be a public spectacle, at least not yet. He needed control, and justice. Marina Cole, unaware of the investigation already underway, went about her day cautiously. But her conscience gnawed at her. She had only delivered the envelope, the letter that might change everything, yet she feared it might not be enough. When she returned home that evening, she found a man waiting, impeccably dressed, calm, and unmistakably commanding. "Marina Cole?" he asked. Her heart raced. "Yes." "I am Kareem Al-Rahman," he said, his voice even, authoritative. "I want to thank you for your courage. I understand you have information regarding Celeste Vaughn." Marina blinked, unable to speak. This was the man, the billionaire whose empire she had only glimpsed from afar, who had seemed untouchable, untouchably powerful. And now, he was here, listening. Kareem continued, eyes never leaving hers. "You risked your safety to deliver the truth. That takes courage, Marina. I need everything you know, every detail." Trembling, she recounted everything, the conversation she had overheard, the voice on the phone, Celeste's threats, and the date of the civil wedding. Kareem listened in silence, absorbing every word. When she finished, he nodded slowly. "You have done right. And I will ensure that truth is not buried by wealth or lies." That night, Kareem sat alone in his office, reviewing the evidence Marina had provided alongside his investigators' findings. The reality crystallized. Celeste Vaughn was married to another man. She had manipulated him, his name, and his trust for personal gain. He closed his eyes, taking a slow, deliberate breath. Anger surged, but Kareem knew that power without justice is empty. He whispered softly, 5 seconds before it begins, they'll see that truth always arrives. Kareem Al-Rahman entered the hall, his tall frame cutting through the crowd like a shadow of authority. Every step was deliberate, every gaze measured. He carried no visible anger, only a calm, unwavering focus. Beside him, Malik Idris whispered, "Sir, she hasn't noticed yet. You want me to delay the ceremony?" Kareem shook his head subtly. "No. Let it happen naturally. Timing is everything. Truth must arrive at its own crescendo." Celeste Vaughn glided down the aisle in her cream silk gown, every eye admiring her elegance. But her confidence faltered as she glimpsed Kareem approaching. For the first time, fear replaced her practiced poise. Marina Cole lingered near the back, hands trembling slightly. She had been sworn to wait until Kareem gave a signal. Yet she felt every heartbeat as if it might betray her. The officiant cleared his throat. "We are gathered here today to witness." Before he could continue, Kareem raised a hand. Silence fell instantly. Guests' heads turned, whispers spreading like wildfire. Celeste's eyes widened. "Kareem, what are you?" Kareem spoke, voice steady, cutting through the tension. "Before these vows are spoken, there is something that must be known." He handed Marina forward. She stepped timidly into the aisle, the envelope she had delivered weeks ago held tightly in her hands. Every eye in the room followed her. Celeste's lips parted, but no words came. Her groomed mask of perfection was cracking. Marina handed the envelope to Kareem. He opened it calmly, reading the contents silently. Then, in front of everyone, he spoke. "Celeste Vaughn is already married. Her promises here today are built on deception." A stunned hush fell. Some guests gasped, others froze in disbelief. Celeste turned pale, and a soft murmur of shock ran through the hall. "I trusted you," Kareem continued, his voice unwavering but heavy with controlled anger. "And in return, you attempted to manipulate, to lie, and to profit from my trust." Celeste stumbled backward, her hand clutching her chest. This isn't true. You have no proof." Kareem raised a hand, stopping her. Malik handed him a tablet showing the documentation, marriage certificates, phone call logs, and photos Marina had risked everything to secure. Every lie, laid bare. "I always believed in truth," Kareem said, eyes locking onto hers. "And today, truth has arrived." Celeste's facade crumbled entirely. The room watched as the empire builder showed both power and restraint. He didn't shout, he didn't humiliate her. His authority alone made the deception crumble. Marina exhaled, relief washing over her. She had done the impossible, faced the elite, revealed the truth, and lived to tell it. Kareem turned to the guests. "Justice is not vengeance," he said. "It is the courage to face lies, wherever they hide, and to honor those who bring truth to light." The wedding was immediately cancelled. Celeste was escorted quietly out, leaving her secrets exposed and powerless. After the crowd dissipated, Kareem walked to Marina. "You showed remarkable courage," he said quietly. "Few would risk their livelihood, or worse, to reveal the truth. You have my respect." Marina's eyes shimmered. I couldn't let him marry her, knowing the deception." Kareem nodded. "That is the essence of morality, choosing justice over convenience, truth over comfort. You reminded me of something important today." He extended a hand. "I hope you will continue to act with courage, Marina. The world needs more like you." The aftermath of the wedding scandal had left the media buzzing, but Kareem's calm presence behind closed doors remained unshaken. He had acted decisively, but inside, he felt the rare pang of personal betrayal. Celeste Vaughn had been poised to manipulate not only him but his reputation, and that stung deeply. Malik Idris entered quietly, holding a dossier. "Sir, all digital traces have been secured. She won't be able to claim any leverage." Kareem didn't look up immediately. "Malik, the world sees power as wealth, as influence. They forget it also requires patience, judgment, and restraint. Today, restraint was justice." Malik nodded. "And the staff, sir? Marina?" Kareem finally looked up, eyes sharp yet contemplative. "She acted with courage. The truth is rare. It must be protected, not punished." Marina Cole, meanwhile, returned home to a quiet apartment, exhausted yet exhilarated. Her phone buzzed, messages from friends and colleagues praising her bravery, some warning her about the inevitable backlash. But she didn't care. Her mind replayed Kareem's calm, deliberate authority, how he had confronted Celeste without spectacle, how his power had been wielded not for humiliation but for truth. For the first time, she understood what it meant to be genuinely influential. A few days later, Kareem called Marina to his office. The city spread beneath them like a constellation of ambition and opportunity. "Marina," he began, voice steady, "I want you to continue working with me. Not as a maid, but as part of my operations team. I need people I can trust, people who value truth above comfort." Marina blinked. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Me?" Kareem smiled faintly. "Yes. Courage doesn't require a title, but it deserves recognition. You proved that." Her heart pounded, a mixture of pride, disbelief, and gratitude. "I won't let you down," she whispered. "You won't. And perhaps," Kareem said, looking out at the city lights, "you'll also learn something about power. True power isn't domination. It's the ability to shape outcomes through ethics, courage, and moral clarity." Meanwhile, Celeste Vaughn found herself isolated. Her social circles abandoned her, and her attempts to manipulate others backfired. She realized, painfully, that wealth and beauty were powerless without integrity. She called her co-conspirator, desperate. "We need a plan. He ruined everything." The man's voice was cold, almost amused. "No plan can undo truth, Celeste. You gambled with someone who doesn't just see the surface. You underestimated him, and now you're alone." Her reflection in the darkened window mirrored the collapse of everything she had built on lies. Kareem, in the quiet of his office, poured a glass of aged whiskey. The city pulsed below him, oblivious to the moral victory quietly unfolding within the tower. He allowed himself a moment of reflection. Not pride, not vanity, just clarity. Truth had been revealed. Justice had been served. And he had done it with restraint, patience, and unwavering integrity, traits that no deception could ever undermine. Kareem Al-Rahman walked through the executive lobby, his steps confident, yet measured. Employees paused to greet him, unaware of the storm that had passed days ago. For them, he was always the composed, unshakable leader. Today, though, Kareem carried a quiet satisfaction, the kind that comes not from wealth, but from justice fulfilled. Marina Cole stood beside him, now formally integrated into his operations team. Her uniform had been replaced by professional attire suitable for corporate work, and she radiated a newfound confidence. "Are you ready for today?" Kareem asked, his gaze thoughtful. Marina nodded. "Yes, sir. I never imagined I'd be here, working with someone like you." Kareem's eyes softened slightly. "It is not about who you are, Marina. It is about the courage to act when it matters most. That is what defines us." Across the city, Celeste Vaughn faced her final reckoning. News outlets had obtained verified proof of her deception. Social circles that once courted her now distanced themselves. Her social media was flooded with criticism, and legal action for fraud was imminent. She realized, too late, that no charm or wealth could shield her from consequences. Back at Rahman Tower, Kareem held a small private meeting with his executive team. "Power," he said slowly, "is not just what you have, but how you use it. The world can mistake wealth for control, but real control lies in ethics, truth, and courage. Today, we have reinforced that principle." Malik Idris nodded. "Sir, you handled the situation with absolute precision. No public scandal, no unnecessary humiliation. Just justice." Kareem's gaze drifted to Marina. "And let this serve as a reminder, loyalty must be earned, truth must be protected, and courage rewarded. Those who act ethically, even when it is risky, belong in positions of influence." Marina felt a surge of pride, yet humility. She realized she was witnessing leadership on a scale she had never imagined, not just in wealth, but in moral authority. Later that afternoon, Kareem returned to his penthouse, overlooking the Thames. He poured himself a glass of aged whiskey and allowed himself a rare, quiet smile. Marina joined him, carrying a folder of her recent work, strategic plans, risk assessments, and operational improvements. "You've already proven yourself," Kareem said. "But remember, power without conscience is meaningless. It is our responsibility to wield it wisely." Marina nodded, understanding the weight of his words. "I'll never forget that, sir." Outside, the city moved on, oblivious to the drama that had nearly shattered a marriage and exposed a lie. Inside, a billionaire and a former housemaid shared a quiet moment, a meeting of courage, truth, and respect that transcended social boundaries. In a world where wealth often shields deceit, and charm can mask betrayal, true power lies not in gold or influence, but in moral courage. The Arab billionaire CEO, Kareem Al-Rahman, showed that authority is measured by how one protects truth, honors integrity, and rewards bravery. Marina Cole's choice to act, risking her security and comfort, reminds us that even the smallest voice can alter destinies. And Celeste Vaughn's downfall proves that deception, no matter how elegantly dressed, cannot endure in the face of unyielding truth. Power, justice, and humanity are inseparable. For those who wield influence wisely, their legacy is not only measured in wealth, but in the courage to uphold what is right, the restraint to act with dignity, and the wisdom to let truth guide every decision. In the end, the real victory belongs not to those who hide behind riches, but to those who stand for honor, integrity, and justice, even when the world seems indifferent.